Hello to all our Carey kids and to anyone else who's joining us today. I'm Nigel and I have a question for you. What's the most valuable thing you can think of? Is it the car that your parents have? Is it the house you live in? Maybe the crown jewels? Or is it your family? Well, in today's Bible lesson, we're going to hear two stories from Jesus. They're two very short stories, but they are two amazing stories. And they both speak of something even more precious than the most valuable thing in the world. But nobody can buy it with money. What's more, it's crucial that everyone should possess it. What can it possibly be? The first story Jesus told went like this. The kingdom of heaven is like treasure hidden in a field. When a man found it, he hid it again. And then, in his joy, went and sold all he had and bought that field. It's interesting to note that the man wasn't looking for treasure. He just stumbled across it. But he realised immediately that what he had found was very precious, priceless. He even dug it over with the dirt so that no one could come and steal it from him. He was full of joy over his discovery. God's kingdom is a great treasure. We choose to follow Jesus, being prepared to give up everything for him because it is more precious, more important than anything else in life. We leave the old bad ways of our lives behind us, which makes us just like the man in the story. But it gets better. Just think about it. A man who gave up everything he had because of his joy to purchase something precious to him. Who does that sound like? Does it remind you of anyone in the Bible? Yes, it's Jesus. Jesus was willing to pay any price for us. He even paid the price of his life. He sold everything to have you and me, and that makes us his treasure. This truth is so important that Jesus told another story which is very similar. But before I do, let me ask you this. Do you know what a pearl is? Well, pearls are very rare jewels. You find them inside little sea creatures called mollusks. You would have to open up hundreds of these little creatures in order to find just one pearl inside. Jesus told this story. Again, the kingdom of heaven is like a merchant looking for fine pearls. When he found one of great value, he went away and sold everything he had and bought it. Imagine the most valuable pearl in the world. I'm sure the merchant, who was a sort of businessman who bought and sold things to make money, he would have set off immediately to try and find it. Picture the scene. Down to the seafront to find the pearl fisherman who owned it, asking the man how much it was, and then being told that it was worth a huge amount of money. But because he was so desperate to have it, returns home, sells everything he has, even his best clothes, then takes the money back to the fisherman to buy the pearl. The merchant sacrificing everything until at last he owns the one thing that was now most precious to him in the whole world, the special pearl. In the first story, the man wasn't looking for his treasure. He just stumbled upon it. But in this story, we see a man who looked hard to find his treasure. And do you think it was worth all the effort? Yes, of course it was. We see here that God's kingdom is so valuable. If we give up everything else, even lose everything through some disaster, but you gain God's kingdom by trusting in Jesus, it's so worth it. But listen to this. It's also true to say that Jesus is the merchant, on the lookout for something precious, something more beautiful and valuable than any jewel he had ever seen. And the pearl, that's you. Jesus is so excited to have you that he gives up everything, even his own life, just to have you for himself. So what do you think? Are you the merchant looking for fine pearls, or are you the priceless treasure? The answer? Yes, to both. You are a precious treasure to God. He loved you so much that he was willing to pay any price to have you. And you are the person who has found something so special, so valuable, that even if you lost everything else, but you had this pearl, God's kingdom, you would still be a winner. You can know that you're a precious treasure to God. And when you have him, you could lose everything else, but as long as you still have him, you have everything. Well, that's the end of our lesson today. Thanks for listening. See you all again.